Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vex Warfield. I am Vex, your host. Tonight, we're going to talk about what I consider a kind of little deep subject: realities. And how many can there be? And how many can you experience all at once? Well, if we think about it, we have a lot of things here that occupy our attention. And oop, had a brain fart. But we end up experiencing multiple different realities every day. Now, one of the things that got thinking about this is, well, the internet versus real life. That's the obvious thing. But within the internet, there can be several different realities. For instance, we can use YouTube and platforms like that as an example. There are many things I watch and focus on whenever I'm on YouTube. Sometimes I'll watch prepper shows. Sometimes I'll watch hunting videos. Sometimes I'll watch gun videos. I even watch gamers play. Several different things, but each time I have a tendency to binge watch. I'll watch several different episodes all at once, and then let it save up for a while, and then watch several different episodes all at once. I usually do it like that. And in doing something like that, even whenever you're on your PlayStation or Xbox or anything like that, you're focusing on what it is that you are doing so much that you become a part of it. Now, it goes around in different circles online, about immersion. Well, immersion is a type of reality. You exclude everything else out for the sake of this input. I know when I was younger, whenever video games first started coming out, I would get so engrossed into playing different games that I wouldn't hear mom yell at me about, to get to dinner or anything like that, because I was so focused in on what was going on. That was a big part of just the television itself. You would get so engrossed in the programming that's there that you exclude all of real life for what you are watching or what you are paying attention to. See, generally people think of it as, one thing. We live in this reality, this existence, so it's all within this same reality. But actually, I don't think it is. There's so many different realities around us. I'll give you another example. I mean, something as simple as focusing in on a career. I know a guy who he actually wanted to become an air traffic controller, and he ended up becoming an air traffic controller. But whenever he was not in school or hanging out or anything like that, he was studying, so that became his reality. I remember going over to his house and walking in while he was basically going over stuff that had to do with aircrafts and basically his career of choice. And he could not break away from it even when I walked in, because he instantly starts talking about aircrafts and aircraft controlling and did you know this and did you know that. So his reality was that during that time. One thing that I've said before is your focus determines your reality. Now, I totally stole that from Star Wars and the Jedi stuff because, well, I think it's actually got a lot of truth to it. If you are so focused on, say, everything going on around you, how are you going to be able to pay attention to what is going on with you personally? We can live in multiple realities at once. We just have to recognize them for what they are. And recognizing them, it'll keep you from getting lost within them. Kind of reminds me of back when I was using Facebook all the time. Whenever I got on Facebook, I lost hours of time. I'd start scrolling, next thing I know, it's 2 hours later. And I only meant to go and look up one thing, that type of thing. It's the same thing. Maybe not as concrete as, or not as concrete. Maybe not like other dimensions or anything like that, but your brain is very, very powerful. If it is free to do what it needs to be able to do, you can make, well, I can add in manifestations, but your reality is just that, your reality. Now, just in acknowledging that, all in itself will help you in many other things. If you can keep things in order, then you should be able, you should be able to distinguish and keep separate. Because once they start mixing together, you tend to hold on to one to anchor you. Now, the one that should anchor you should be yourself and your personal reality. Most people don't understand, or, they just plain don't understand that in order to know yourself, I forgot to snap. You have to know yourself to know everything else. If you don't, you confuse yourself. Sorry, I forgot to... There you go. That's a good example right there. I reject your reality and replace it with my own. Adam Savage, Mythbusters. Yeah, that's... If I wholeheartedly believe in one thing, and you come at me with a separate thing, or we'll just say an opposite, I cannot believe it, because that is not a part of my reality. And that's where a lot of stuff that's going on now in our society is more or less just like this. Hey, Survival. Oh, I forgot to say, Rebel Jack. Good to see you, brother. But these people... Oh, yeah, I forgot to put up the damn link. Un momento, por favor. That is the extent of my Spanish, so don't talk to me in Spanish. Where is it? There it is. All right. This is something I wanted to discuss with quite a few people. To see if, basically where everybody's at as far as this goes. You think I'm, just spouting crap and it doesn't make any damn sense? Or do you get it? Understand exactly what I'm saying? All right. I'm pinning the StreamYard link. And YouTube chat. Here we go. So, yeah. Stop that. um, but that's a lot of the problems that we're dealing with today with people, just run-of-the-mill people, because we have been inundated with information, good, bad, indifferent, all of it just every day, constantly, and people don't know what to believe. Now, if people in mass don't know what to believe, they're easily led. And this is what we see today. These people that are easily led do not know themselves. And therefore, if they don't know themselves, then therefore they do not know others. They have a sphere of influence that's very small. I'm not talking about their, personality interacting with people. I'm talking about their energy themselves. It's very small and contained. And if it doesn't directly, Mike Truitt, good to see you. This is something that done to us on purpose. It's the fake it till you make it type of thing. I got a nice car, I got jewelry, I got money, but I live in a shithole house, that type of thing. Stabilize your own self, and then it can build from there. Now, the reality is external when you focus on external. Now, the more you focus on external, the less you understand about yourself. And the less you understand about yourself, well, that's the more closed off you become. And some people don't even really understand that they need to understand themselves, which is a problem in itself. Make any sense to anybody out there? Am I explaining it? Am I not explaining it okay? Let me a little feedback, please. People have been fooled, include everyone, myself, a long time. Some of us are, opening our eyes and taking a look and seeing what the general reality is, and we're understanding that it's really messed. Now, there's a way to get back to the sanity of reason, forethought, just general good knowledge. Welcome, Survival.
Hey, how you doing? I'm testing out a new headset. How's it working?
Hey, sounds good. We're experiencing multiple all at once.
Oh, I didn't catch the last part you said.
I was asking you, what do you think about multiple realities and experience them all at once, depending on what your focus may be?
Do I experience multiple or do I think about multiple realities and think about that? Is that what you're asking? Because you did cut out a little bit more too, but I think that I caught you. Is that the question? Do I consider that kind of thing?
Yeah. Have you ever thought about? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a topic to think about. It's fun to think about that kind of stuff. I'm right with you. I try to follow along.
Right on. Was my
you're kind of clipping in and out a little bit.
Yeah, afraid that my internet.
I don't know if it's only
today.
It might not be it might be on my end. You might ask the chat if they're having the same thing.
I might have to shut this down because it's gonna be really frustrating if I can't actually talk to everybody.
It might be your background music. You might try to like cut your background music and see if that clears it up. I know it's the good vibes though.
Yep. Okay. Let me try that.
If you have too many things going on the audio, it might clip you. I don't
All
know.
right. Let's see if that helped.
It seems like
All
it
right.
did. You're very clear.
Damn it. I was kind of hoping that wouldn't do any good because I like having that stuff on in the background.
Yeah.
Well,
I invited my friend
essentially,
Ragnarok over here because he's a deep thinking guy too. I invited him. I hope to see him in the chat.
cool. Yeah. Basically, I was just wanting to know what you were thinking about it. I mean, I don't know how much I was breaking up during, before you came up or anything. I was hoping I was relatively clear.
Yeah, I think people could probably hear you pretty good. When you know how that your music flows like low and then back up high. When it gets high, your audio starts clipping.
Oh, interesting. All right.
But
Well,
I think I took the gist of it. So if we're talking about multi or infinity universe or infinity type of are you talking like a more of a box theory, like a cube theory, where everything's happening all at once?
Well, that is one aspect of it, but I was thinking on the other side of it, to where your focus determines your reality, and if you expand upon that, whenever we get online, say like right now, I'm totally focused on the StreamYard and what I'm doing online, so therefore I'm excluding the real world for the internet world. Hey, Ragnarok, welcome.
Oh, there he is. That's my guy, dude.
But
Do you still have StreamYard? Do you still have the StreamYard link pinned on your YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought Ragnarok would be a good guy. He'd probably be a good guy to talk to with these kind of topics. He's really good with this kind of stuff.
Well, the link is pinned up there at the top of the chat. If you want to come up and join us, we're talking about realities and how many we experience. Your focus. Well, let me take a step back. When I started meditation and learning how to do it, I realized that whenever I attempted meditation, I was attempting to go into a different reality. I know it sounds kind of weird saying it like that, but my reality was the meditation in itself. I had nothing else within my meditation other than the meditation itself. So in that regard, it had become a separate reality. Now, same thing happens when somebody gets really focused when they draw something. Their whole world becomes what they're doing. Now, this qualifies as a separate reality because while you're so focused on the one thing, everything else around you falls away. Now, it's the same thing whenever, my generation grew up watching TV. We would get so focused on the screen and what was going on the screen that we didn't hear anything else in the house. I mean, there's been several times my mom had to throw something at me because she'd been yelling at me for 15, 20 minutes to get me to go do something. I was totally focused on what was happening on the screen.
I've seen different aspects of that, like or different levels, I suppose. Because I'm really close to the same generation as you. Oh, what does Ragnar say? Ragnar says, you can create a whole universe in your mind, like world building for a book you're writing.
Yeah.
So I think, that's why I invited him here, because I know that the guy's a deep thinker. And I'm not as deep as you guys are. Like, I'll acknowledge that, like, I'm not at your guys' plane or your level yet. But I would witness this kind of thing. So I had TV kind of when I grew up. I st- we weren't. My parents weren't the kind of parents that just plopped their kids in front of the TV. I know a lot of people that were like that. I know a lot of my friends and everybody I grew up with were a lot like that. But I had this Mormon friend, and they were not allowed to have TV at all. But when he came over to my house, he was like, we're like 12, and he's like, man, can we watch TV? And I'm like, let's go play outside, dude. And he's like, no, all I want to do is watch TV and drink Coca-Cola. I'm like, well, I was like, I can do that for you, dude. And so I remember being like 12, and I remember looking at his face, dude, and it was like he was really hypnotized. I really think like I witnessed a hypnotist, somebody that had never seen TV much at all. Like they were not raised on TV. TV to me was like I just never really cared for that all that much.
Mm-hmm.
But this kid took one look at it, and like you could say his name, and like you could like, hey man, what are you doing? And he was just locked, he was zombied on there. It's weird, man.
Yeah.
It's weird to see, especially at that age.
Yeah, and that's part of what I'm saying. I mean, that type of concentration is exactly what I'm talking about. Whenever, video games is a perfect example for it also. Since, we all basically grew up with video games. Now, video games, I remember back in the day when I was, still into them, back, during the PlayStation 1, era. um, I remember playing video games so much that I would actually physically sweat while I was playing just because I was so into what was going on.
You ever get a thumb blister on there?
No, I never got one of those. Well, I got
you're
close to
already
one, but
calloused
not
out.
really. Yeah, it was. Whenever I was on it, I was totally in it. And everything was about what I was doing and not anything else. I mean, if it was always one of those things where, oh, I have a couple hours to kill, it'll be easy to do that if I just play a game, that type of thing, because I knew I would just totally zone in on it and just it would all be there. And I have to set it on alarm to make sure that I stopped playing when I needed to stop playing, like go to work or whatever. But it was totally engrossing and enthralling. And these screens that we are inundated with, and this includes your phones, most definitely, are enthralling us to the point where we can't imagine being without it. And that has altered our reality as a mass, the populace themselves. If you told everybody that they had to give up their phone for a week, go crazy. They'd be nuts. Awesome Alice.
Very large. Awesome Alice is in here?
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Alice? Dude, she was going live for like the first time today. She's figuring it out. She's doing her thing. You should probably give her a wrench so that she can share her channel. If she can even figure that out. She's got a road to go, but she's getting there. She's figuring it out.
I can do that.
But yeah, man, I mean, when you're talking about dipping into these, when you're so focused and you're in this some sort of trance, or when you're in this universe of you're just focused on that so much, you're totally dipped out of real life.
Mm-hmm.
Like completely disconnected.
Well, I mean, we have so many different levels to what everybody would know as meditation. And I've talked about it many, many times. I believe meditation should be taught to everyone like doing their ABCs. In this regard, we would have so much control over ourselves, so much discipline over ourselves. Cyber's good to see you.
Cybertoxin. Are you sharing? Is Cybertoxin coming in with the chivalry? Is that Alice's channel? Or is Cybertoxin hyping his own channel?
Let's see.
Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off there, man.
Awesome Alice's channel. Guys, that's
There
Awesome
you go.
Alice's
Look at that. Chivalry's not dead.
There you go. Knight in shining armor. Yeah. This is something that just most people don't really consider.
Ragnarok has a good one too there, but yeah, I think that you're growing in an audience that people are going to understand everything you're saying. Bex.
I don't want it to be so complicated that run-of-the-mill person couldn't pick up on it either. So I'm trying to kind of skate that line there. I don't want to go, too deep to where everybody's just like, yeah, I don't understand. I'm going to turn this off.
Right. No, but you see what Ragnarok's saying? Like, if you can, if a kid can, if a guy, young person can have a leadership role in their life as a kid, like, dad or mom, that kind of shields them from this crap that can totally enthrall their brain to an age enough of where they can understand what's propaganda and what's not, and what will draw them in and what won't, If you can get them to, like, it used to be like, get the kid to about 18 years old or so, 17, 18, they'll be all right on their own. And you're seeing now, like, it's getting harder probably for parents out here, because kids are still like, they're like in their late 20s, just totally entranced with this false reality that they're living in.
Well, not only that, think about their parents too. The kids growing up, sure, absolutely, but even their parents growing up, they half of them, we'll just say that as a general term, half of them don't even know how to be a parent without a phone,
right?
Or without letting them get enthralled in their whatever screen they may have on. Hey, Conservative Patriot, good to see you. And
Conservative Patriots in the house. Ragnarok says movies, shows, stuff like that, it's all cluttered to your head. Kids can visualize whole worlds and fantasies of being a knight in their head as a kid. Some adults can do this. Most can't.
That's true, a true statement. Yeah, that's a very accurate statement. With me, I kind of got lucky. I'm kind of half in the technical, I guess, the scientific type of thought, and I'm half into the spiritual. And that has enabled me to not only be able to do complex things, but also draw decently, that type of thing, where I'm in my, my left brain versus my right brain type of thing.
I understand. I understand. I think that maybe that's why we connect too, because I was always a very technical artist. I can draw. I'm really, really good at drawing, but it's always very technical. It's always realistic. I don't do anything that's like abstract at all. It's photorealism is what I draw.
Well, yeah, and that just pops into my head a little bit of music that I do. My music is actually rather technical, and it's formulaic. More, it's my scientific half governing my creative half.
Do you have any recorded?
Type of thing. I used to, but my soundboard blacked out on me and erased everything. I got to redo everything anyway. But
the only thing that I have recorded are just like practice sessions that me and the boys had in the garage room.
I used to have thousands of hours on my soundboard.
Oh, damn, man. That sucks. That's a shitty one to lose, man, because sometimes you want to listen back on that stuff.
Absolutely, dude.
It'll bring you right back.
We had these sessions that were all improv that we'd play for hours on end just at my house, and we just record the whole thing all the way through. We'd stop sometimes, smoke a bowl, drink, whatever, and then we'd get back to playing, and then we just, just keep it going like that. And we'd go and listen to it back. Yeah.
You guys never put it on SoundCloud or nothing?
Oh, no, this was before doing all the networking on the internet and stuff.
Yeah. I forget. You
Yeah,
got like maybe what, 9 or 10 years on me?
yeah, I'm fit.
Yeah, I always forget. I'm right behind you though.
But yeah, I noticed that I merged a lot of my creativity plus my I don't know, I call it my business mode. My creativity and business mode have merged, and I love it. I really do. I mean, it's the type of thing that used to hinder me because it was so separated. I would go to work and go into work mode and wouldn't use my creativity very much. Well, as soon as I started learning to use both together, that's when I started to excel because I was able to problem solve in real time. And that was one thing that my bosses loved because they didn't want to be bothered with all the piddly junk. They wanted it just, you know, do the job, make it work, make sure everything's right. Okay, I can do that, that type of thing. And
Yeah,
it's helped my customer service skills, things of that nature. So, I mean, this is something that could be beneficial to everyone. And it is as
absolutely.
simple as knowing yourself. Yourself is the best thing you could know. Yeah, sure.
It's
Being
yourself is like it's something that you have to hone almost. I mean, it's you you were somebody potty trained your ass, at
Mhm.
one point. Somebody taught you not to piss in your pants, and
Yeah,
you cannot stop growing after that. Like after you learn that, you can learn everything. You just got to keep moving in the positive direction.
yeah.
As soon as you quit wetting the bed, there's no excuse for you anymore. You better learn.
Well, yeah, and it's not like we didn't know how to go to the bathroom. We knew how to go to the bathroom. It's automatic.
You
But
can go right on the bed, right in your pants.
yeah, yeah,
Somebody will tell you, hey, that's not what we do around here. You
and
learn.
that also,
You learn how to learn.
yeah, and it also imparts consequence to you. If you piss in your bed, you're going to sleep in piss, and that's not
Yeah, it's
very
not very
comfortable.
good. Yeah, it sucks. That was
So you
Ragnarok all the
learn,
way up until he was 23. I'm just
yeah. So
kidding.
you
I,
learn to
I like
wake up, and
I was pitch Ragnar shit.
but you learn to wake up and you go to the bathroom instead of relaxing in your bed. I mean, it sounds simple, but I mean, it's a way of thinking. You have to change your programming because when you're young like that, you don't know the difference. And like you said, you have to be taught to, be potty trained.
You have to learn
Well,
how to learn. And
yeah,
if you the people that are training you, like we'll just say it's training, man.
hmm,
People that are training you to be a human, they need to train you how to learn to learn. If you got a couple of loving parents, it's a lot easier for them to do that because they like legit fucking love you and they want you to succeed. So they're gonna try to teach you how to learn.
hmm.
Some
Ragnarok
people
just
may
put
not
this
get
in.
it. What is
Did
this?
you know the picture of the universe as we know it looks like a brain cell? Yes, sir, indeed. This is something that I've talked about a few times,
Really?
and yes, absolutely, it looks like brain cells. I mean, I do have a picture that I have taken off the internet here that I will queue up.
Throw that
But
out, dude.
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that's one of the reasons why when I first learned about it, I mean, it wasn't we didn't have any images of it back when I started learning about it. Uh, the internet has made a lot of things possible. But whenever I first saw it or started learning about it, it kind of gave me that little epiphany. Little bell rings in my brain going, wait a minute. All right, all right, all right. Now, if by chance, if just by chance, this looks aren't deceiving, then this structure looks like neurons firing in the brain or pathways being built in the brain. Now, if we take this a step further, then if what we are coming to if the conclusion we are coming to is actually real, that means our universe is within a brain cell. We are a complex thought. Everything in our existence is within a thought inside a being's brain. Now, you look at the how people talk about the creator, God. Now, if you're God and this is true, this whole universe is within a brain, then yes, our creator is all powerful. Our creator can make anything happen. I mean, I thought about it like this. If this is true, and a while back I attempted to, be an author and write a series of sci-fi novels. I'm not that great of a writer, so
dude,
it
is
didn't
this where
work
the
out too well.
term big brain comes from? We're gonna big brain this, dude?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I don't
All
know
right.
if it's actual, but
probably not.
But
damn, dude, it's definitely. I like listening to everybody about these kinds of things. So,
but if this is all true, then we are a thought in the brain of God, and that means just by the way I have experimented with the fantasies in my brain, like running through and creating a whole universe for my book. Now, I went through and thought about this for, months and years. I mean, just thinking about, well, if this is happening here, this might be happening there. You know, how you figure out how to do a book and write the story. But just in me doing that, I created a universe. Now, granted, my universe is based on the universe I live in. So, I kind of had it easy. So, a lot of stuff was already there for me. But in this regard,
are you saying that
makes
your universe was manifested by you? Is that what you're thinking, or were you predestined for this universe?
No, I live inside this universe, and I created another universe and started writing a book about this universe I created.
Okay.
So, in essence, I became God to that universe. Because I can make anything happen in that universe, I will to happen. Because it's all being made up by me. Now, take to
Dude, at that point, you gotta wonder, like, when bad shit's happening around you, or if you're not as fortunate as you like to think you are, why are you holding yourself back? Or why is your mind creating these things that are happening? You know, if that's the direction you want to go with it. If you are truly in your own universe and you are in control, why is your brain having tragedies happen, and why is your brain having doing these things? Why are you as fortunate as you would like to be? Is it all in your brain? Did you will yourself into being just a billionaire, the wealthiest man in the world? You will.
Well, actually, that type of thing is called manifestation, and you can manifest that type of thing. But it's not going to just drop in your lap. You have to do things to make it happen. This is our reality. This is what we have to struggle with. But in the universe that I created in writing this book, or attempting to write this book, I can make myself a millionaire. I'm all powerful. I can make our sun turn blue. That type of thing. But it's not very realistic to do something like that. And there are always choices to be made. But each reality that we can tap into or be a part of is controllable by us. Only you can choose for you. And if you don't choose, then things will happen around you. And then still, that is still a choice that you have made. Now, in creating my universe, I knew how things were going to be because, like I said, I modeled them after the universe I live in. And that's what got me thinking about, well, what if God is just like me in this regard? Maybe God is writing a book and he's sitting in his den, wherever that may be, and he's contemplating what's going to happen in this book. He's structuring it all out in his mind, maybe even writing it down. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have to. Or maybe it's one of those things where he has the ability to just project it. And it becomes reality right there in front of him. And he watches it unfold as it comes. And he makes little changes. But you were talking about something that made me think about balance. If bad things happen, it is in the balance to good things. Now, our universe in itself is in perfect balance. I shit you not, absolute perfect balance. When things go slightly out of balance, we get stars exploding and stuff like that. We move a decimal point and our universe ends. So balance in all things is a powerful statement in itself, because that is the nature of our universe.
It really does sure seem like there's a pretty good balance going on, and it's pretty unexplainable.
Yeah, I saw a video quite a while back that basically illustrated this, and it was a guy who was talking about string theory, and he standing in front of green screen and stuff like that, but behind him was this looked like a control panel for spaceship or something like that. And he turns to it and says, all these are settings for the universe. And if one gets changed just in a fractional way, it can cause everything else to go completely haywire. And I was like, okay. And he went on and kept explaining about it. He said, what if I increase the gravity for stars just by a point?
Yeah,
Well,
it would throw everything completely out.
Yeah,
dude, so I wonder, is Ragnarok still in the chat? I would like to see if he's still in there, because he has proclaimed. I mean, I know you and I, Vex, we would love to believe, and we probably do believe there's extraterrestrial out there. Ragnarok has some ideas that there are a vast amount of humanoids in outer space, and he's got a pretty good thought process. It's fun, it's good thoughts. I want to see what he says.
I've heard through several different people. We'll just say that several different people that essentially there is I don't know, I think they call it the Galactic Federation. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. I've never come across anybody in, space garb that could, beam me up or anything like that. So I don't know personally, but I've heard that there's this Galactic Federation, and essentially they're just waiting, or they've been watching us, and some have been interacting. Some have been trying to keep those people who are interacting from interacting. But they're waiting for us to get to a level of maturity as a species that so basically we can take our place among this Galactic Federation. Like that, I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, I'd love to think of it as true.
It's a theory. Some of us might already be more than willing to be a part of that federation or something. But it's theories, but it's a lot of fun to think about. And what Ragnarok says, the amount of possibilities in the universe, everything you can't count anything out.
Absolutely
There's
not.
infinity impossibilities.
I mean, just because we don't know doesn't make it not true. And it also doesn't make it true. We don't know until we know. And it's that simple. So, I mean, is it a strong possibility? You're damn right it is. I have I have no problem in saying sure. Do I know? Absolutely not. But can I speculate? You're damn right, and I sure as hell will, because that's what I love doing. I like taking all the pieces that I find from various different areas and putting them together in a big old puzzle. And some parts are clear on that puzzle, and they're all put together and look nice. And other parts, they're just gaping holes, and I can't find the pieces. So, could it be? Sure. Could it not be? Sure. What do you think?
It's just another one of those things you got to try to spend. You got to calculate your time that you have. How much time are you going to spend thinking about these things? And how much time are you going to spend producing and trying to, survive and stuff? But you have to ponder and sit and think about the things that your own mind is coming up with.
Well,
You got to wonder if you can come up with it. It's probably, if your brain can produce the thought, it's probably a high possibility that it's true somewhere. Some people can't do that at all. I don't know.
I mean, it's one of the great things about the job I have. It doesn't require much thought. So my mind is pretty much free to contemplate stuff. So I do. And yeah, for the past 10 years, that's basically what I've been doing at my job, is just thinking of stuff that most people don't even consider.
I liked the one that you posted one about a couple months ago. I've forgotten about most of the premise of it, but it was kind of like an awakening. Some information was going to come out that the powers that be knew was going to boil down to a point that
the bottleneck.
The bottleneck, yeah. Can you explain that a little more? I definitely can't explain it perfectly.
Yeah, sure. As a matter of fact, it's to be full disclosure here, I'm still wrapping it around my brain, but essentially, there's going to come to a point, and this has actually been scientifically proven, that this will happen after a certain amount of time. Well, let us take a step back and say the choices we make affect the future. If I choose to turn left tomorrow instead of going right on my way to work, that will change the future, at least for me. Maybe for others. Maybe turning left instead of right, I get hit by a car, or my tire blows out and I flip my vehicle. But if I went right, it didn't happen. These are choices that we make that will affect our futures.
You think, is that a butterfly effect? Like every little movement has something like that?
Yeah, pretty much. But after a certain point in these choices, it will not matter what choices we make, because the future will be solidified because of the previous choices that have already been made. So after this bottleneck point, then the choices we make will not have no effect on what continues on.
And that's kind of how I understood that. I understood that too. Like it's almost a predetermined theory, right?
Kind of, yes. Like I said, I haven't quite wrapped my head around it because it's hard to resolve with different beliefs that are going on in this day and age. But
there's I was looking into a study and it was more of like, the reality we're living in now, Earth, our biological bodies. So they basically they separated um, identical triplets at birth
Hmm.
on purpose for a study, and these three boys grew up in separate households. One was a high income house, one was like a medium, and one was a low income. And they, for whatever reason, I forgot what it was now. I can send it to you.
Cool.
It came. Somebody was in one of the boys. I think the higher end boy went to college, and, like a year later than another one of the brothers. But everybody kept greeting him like he was one of the brothers, or one of the, like they knew who he was, and he was like, I have no idea who the fuck any of you are. Like, stop saying you know me. I don't know who you are. And they're like, no, you're this guy, and he's like, no, I'm not. So one of the guys was like got curious, called their buddy, who was the guy's identical twin. He's like, you got to meet this guy. He looks just like you. We all think he's you. They met up, and so there was a big news story about it. And they're like, it's impossible. These twins separated at birth, met up, and so like a triplet saw the story and was like, or somebody that knew the triplet saw the story, and they're like, oh my god, you look just like them. So they found out they were triplets. And then all three of them started this business together, like a restaurant together. And they all got in a big fight, and they separated after whatever reason. But one of the I forget which one it was, killed himself. It was like a big government study of how what happens if you separate triplets at birth. Like, one of them got severe depression after meeting his triplets and stuff, and then being separated from them again. It was just really weird. It's just more mystique to the puzzle that we have going on with these brain looking universes we got going on here.
Well, I find that experiment itself rather interesting, just because that's the type of thing that, quite frankly, the bad guys would want to experiment on, because that's the way they want to treat us all as an experiment. I mean, and that's one experiment that would be detrimental to anyone. Imagine you not growing up. Well, I mean, a lot of people actually probably could understand what I'm about to say. Imagine growing up knowing that your family was your family. You have a brother or sister, and mom and dad, and aunts, uncles, all that stuff. And then you find out that you're adopted. That is one of two things: either enlightening or devastating, because all of a sudden these people that you know and love are not the people you know and love.
Yeah, they've been Santa Clausing you.
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, imagine that. I mean, I hope I would never have to do that.
I mean, talk about PTSD. I mean, just think about the
Uh,
psychological effects alone.
you'd think you'd want to do it at a very early age, where you'd want to tell the kid, like, look, I've adopted you, at a very early age to get him in it. You don't want to spring that shit on somebody when they're like 15. You're like, we've been Santa Clausing you for 15 years, motherfucker.
Yeah,
You know,
and I can understand this type of thing deliver a serious blow to your psyche. Now, I'm not adopted or anything like that, but that was always a kind of a running gag uh, with my older brother, because it was something
you
that
guys would tell each other you're adopted.
yeah.
Well, your brother's a dickhead, dude.
Yeah. I
I
kept
was I
on.
was an older brother too. I just kicked their ass. I never told them they were adopted.
Well, I mean, my brother told me I was adopted, and I said that's impossible. I look like my mom and dad. You're the tall, skinny one. You look different. You're probably adopted, or maybe, hey, you kind of look like that guy down the street. you
Oh
know,
God, you guys.
we used to give each other hell, but uh, I mean, something
It
like
does
that.
go to show that kind of thing, though. That does go show that at least in your generation, the younger men had like some sort of fortitude where they wouldn't let it get into their feelings so hard and break down. You
Right.
could have a ball busting time back then without being like, I'm going to tell on you for busting my balls.
Well, no, you
You
just
know,
figured out a way to get back at them. I mean,
you got your
it was
balls busted and you got to figure out a way to get back. You know,
well, yeah. I mean, this is how I grew up.
I'm going to
Basically, you don't
authorities.
cry about it; you do something about
Yeah, I'm going to the authorities. And you're it's such a pussy thing.
it. Yeah, I find it just totally funny that a lot of the stuff that happens today, people are go run screaming for authorities instead of
Well,
taking care of
when
it
it's on
yourself.
when it's online, it's real easy to just say, "I'm going to report this. It hurt my feelings."
Well,
Report,
see, that was a beautiful thing about the
report,
internet in the beginning,
report.
though.
Yeah,
That
there was
was
no reporting.
yeah, it was everybody was anonymous and it was beautiful. And you could get chewed
America
out by
Online.
somebody you didn't even yeah. You get those little discs in the mail. Yeah, but yeah, you could totally chew somebody out online and then go have dinner and forget all about it. It was just no big deal. And now everybody wants so much connectivity that any thought that anybody wants to spew out there is shared with, a whole bunch of people all at once. And now you're connected with your name in some way, shape, or form. So now you can be tracked down and reported. And
Yeah,
well,
they're like, this guy hurt my feelings. I have to dox him and ruin his life forever.
and this is part of the thing. This is kind of what I was saying about the internet itself. The internet has become a very, very bad place because, for one thing, we allowed governments to stick their paws into it. This was never meant for the government to control. This was for us, we the people, all over the world, so that we could have easy communications with others. Now, they, in quotes, don't want easy communication with people all over the world. They want problems with people all over the world. And this type of you know, propaganda,
Oh, it's not only that.
lies,
What's
huh?
the best part about it? Because I've been at this for a while. It's not the best part. It's the worst, but it's also the best. If you can beat everybody in debate and in meme and in factual information, at the end came for them after they're totally defeated. They go, they know they're completely defeated. They're done. They've got nothing they can add, anything. They go, you're a racist. And then they walk away like a winner. And you're like,
Blanket
you
objects.
motherfucker, you motherfucker.
Yeah, blanket statements that mean nothing,
Or they go,
but they consider it a win.
you're a Nazi. Or they go, you're a white supremacist. Or they go, you're transphobic. Or you're just phobic. And you just sit there in your revelry. You're like, yeah, well, fucking deal with it, motherfuckers. I already won. I beat you. And they
It's
report you and you lose. You got to make a new one. Fuck.
yeah,
Dumb.
it's them not having a way to legitimize what they're saying, so they have to use a blanket statement on top of it to shut you down. Like they have they're in a black dress and have a gavel sitting there, like they're able to preside over you. It's the same thing I was talking about earlier about people are worrying about everything else going around them instead of what's inside themselves.
Right.
It,
You
it
gotta love what's inside yourself, and then you won't worry about anything. You won't worry about any of it.
well,
If
see,
you
that's
love
the whole thing.
yourself,
Well, hold on. You said love, but I say there's a distinction between love and like that we have to consider here. Because, quite frankly, there's a lot of things about myself that I don't love, but I
sure.
accept it. That's the key to it, accepting who you are and acknowledging it, understanding it. Now, I know I'm full of flaws, but I for the most part, know what my flaws are, and I have embraced a lot of them, and quite frankly, trying to fix them. It's a long process, but I'm worth it, aren't you?
Hell yeah, dude, you're worth it, man. I mean, if you're worth it to yourself, then there's nothing else. There's no other source that should tell you otherwise. If you believe that you are worth it, no outside source should be even considered whatsoever. Nobody should be telling you what you need to be doing with yourself, you know?
Yeah, I mean, with me, there's several things about me that I don't like, but I acknowledge what they are and how they came about. Now, this has been a long time coming. I mean, with me trying to figure myself out. But over the years, I've come to terms with who I am. And there's things about me, like, for instance, I can get very angry very easily. Frustration is very close to my surface, but I know it's there and I know when it happens. I recognize it instantly. And I can do something about it because I know it and recognize it as part of me. So if survival comes up here and starts, telling me, how crappy I am at a host and stuff like that, I'll get frustrated, but I'll recognize immediately and go away. It's just his opinion. I don't have to deal with that frustration because I recognized it right off the bat, and was able to put it aside.
Absolutely. And I would never do that to you.
Well, I was
But
just
I would,
using
I
an
would, I would,
example.
I would get rid of you if you did the same thing to me. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's that thing, man. It's like you don't need that kind of shit. You don't need to be pondering that in your mind. You don't need somebody talking to you and saying something that you don't need to be hearing,
Well,
or
see, that's
just negativity. You don't need it. So people don't need it. So
well, it's not
sometimes
even
though,
it's not even like the negative criticism is always a bad thing, because quite frankly, I learn a lot when people actually do give me criticism.
yeah,
Because for
exactly.
one thing, I can learn how they see me at that particular moment, or whatever I did, and they have give commentary on it, whether good or bad. Okay, that gives me not only insight on what I did, but it gives me insight on them. They were focusing on this aspect when I was doing a whole bunch of other stuff, but they focused on this, so that's telling in itself.
That
And
is, yeah, that's a
real
good
quick,
point.
I want to remind everybody I do have the StreamYard link pinned in chat at the top of chat, so come on up and you can join us in the discussion.
How many people you got in here tonight?
I don't know.
It should say on.
It's showing 4 on StreamYard.
Oh, get on up in here, guys. I actually have to do. I gotta shave my head tonight. I gotta shower. I gotta take the garbage down to the end of the road, which is like 100 yards. I'm not thrilled about it, man. I gotta do all these things tonight. I'm just like I'm a procrastinator.
Yeah.
So I'm here on StreamYard procrastinating big time. That's a flaw of mine.
Yeah, I have that same flaw myself. As a matter of fact, it took me like 10, almost 15 minutes to do the show, just because I was sitting there staring at, looking at, trying to figure out a title.
Oh man, I'm gonna cram all this stupid work, right? I'm gonna run these garbage cans down to the end of the road, come back up, shave my head because I'm bald, and then I'm gonna take a shower and like I gotta go feed the dogs.
Yep.
I
If I were your
procrastinate
dogs,
till
man,
it's like,
I'd be pestering you.
oh, they eat. Man, these dogs eat. They're good dogs.
That's good. But
yeah, at the end of the day, I'll go to sleep and I'll feel good about myself, and I'll wake up in the morning and I'll feel good about myself, and I'm not gonna let anybody or any of these entities in our government or anything else sway me from thinking like I got to be a bitch to anybody, because that's not how it works in my mind.
fortifying yourself with yourself is extremely important. Uh, I personally think it's more important than anything else that we're doing. I actually believe this is our purpose here. I believe that we are here to experience our life the way it is and learn who we are and what the universe is about. That's our job.
Dude, we're uploading, man. Or maybe we're downloading.
Yeah, both. Who knows?
Yeah, we're soaking it in. We're gonna take it back somewhere.
But that brings me back to the internet and how it has become a separate reality. Now, whenever I come on here, I become Vex Warfield. I'm a different person. Not that I'm actually a different person, but I take on the persona of Vex Warfield. Now, just for all you guys that might not know, Vex Warfield is the name of the channel. It's not me. I mean, I know you know it's not me, but
I thought that's the name your mom gave you.
no, that's not the point I'm trying to make. But yeah, uh, I mean, I have several names online, but when I come onto YouTube, I am Vex Warfield, and Vex Warfield is the channel. It's not actually a name of a person. It's the channel is called Vex. I was actually going to go by a different name entirely, in chats and stuff like that. And that
Dude,
was
funny you say that, dude. Fun fact. My parents did not name me Survival.
the point I'm trying to make is that the name of the channel, I never meant for Vex Warfield to be what I was called. It just kind of happened, because of the channel. Yeah, it's a different way of looking at it. Now, if you look at it to where I'm using it as a name, which would be the simplest way to think about it, then it's real easy and no further thought is really needed for it. But if you take it in context of it was never meant to be what I was called, it was meant to be what my channel was called. The Vexed Warfield. And that is what we were dealing with in today's society, is a very vexed Warfield. And most people don't realize it. That's why I named my channel Vex Warfield.
Dude, that's very interesting. I did not know that. I'm glad that you explained the origin of your name, because my name, I did not choose Survival either, dude. My name was originally Survival Never Goes Out of Style.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I
was just learning who you are then.
Yeah, and so like it's such a long name that people wanted to like tag me and shit. And they were like, I would see all these botched tries that people tagging me with their apps. And I'm like, oh man, my name is so long, it's so stupid. But it had a meaning at the beginning. But then I shortened it to Survival, and just everybody got to know me as Survival. But in the beginning, it was Survival Never Goes Out of Style, which is my idea for it was like just never give up.
Right.
Because dying or like losing and dying is not stylish. Surviving is in style, and it never goes out of style. Survival never goes out of style. So that was like my whole thing. But then I didn't want to be named Survival. I didn't want to like claim.
Right.
But it just happened that way.
Yeah, I just kind of went with it as far as my name went. It's just like you just said. I mean, it was the name of your channel, your show. Survival Never Goes Out of Style. But it became how you were known. I intended to actually jump around in different chats under a different name and stuff like that, but it just became easier to associate it with me and there. Now, every time I start my show, I say, welcome to Vex Warfield.
Yeah.
Now, that's because I'm welcoming you to my show.
Yeah, dude. I just rolled with it, man. After people started calling me Survival, and then this the avatar that you see there that I have, a woman from the Philippines made that for me and sent it to me.
Ah,
And I just was like, thank you very much. And I just used it, went with it. And you see it's
nice.
like yellow and black. And like, I've had like some like dummies are like, is that a Proud Boy thing? I'm like, no,
Because it's
no,
yellow.
it's yellow and black. Yeah. I'm like, no, it was a gift to me from a Filipino lady that took a liking to me because gave her $2 or whatever, you know.
There you go.
It's just,
It's like Rebel
it's
Jack
funny.
designed my little Superman avatar
Who
thing.
designed the green-eyed bear?
That's just something I picked up off the internet.
Oh yeah, I know. That's like my. Have you ever seen my survival logo? That's picked it right up off the internet.
Yeah.
Very low effort. Very low effort there.
Hey Higgs Homestead, good to see you. Yeah, and I didn't really want to be called Vex Warfield, but it actually became kind of cool.
Yeah, dude, it's a cool name. I think it's cool. I don't know you any other than anything else, man. I just know you're Vex, so you better
Yeah,
keep it up. That's what people tell me. I'm like, I get sick of survival, dude, because I'm like, because a lot of people ask me, they're like, "Whoa, dude, are you like super into surviving in the wild?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not. Like, that's not
that's not the type of survival you're talking about.
like I mean, I can, but no, that's not my topic." But yeah, I get it though. How it's weird, but you get used to it. Then it's like it's kind of cool at a certain point. But then it's like, yeah, when your friends find out about it, or when you're like brother or something finds out, they're like start calling you by that name, dude. They start teasing you, man. What's up, survival? Or like, shut the fuck up. And don't call me survival. You got one of your buddies. You're like, oh, survival's here. Shut up, motherfucker.
Well, I've made it a serious thing for myself not to put out any personal information on the internet since, well, basically the first time I started getting on the internet. So I've always been under aliases from the get-go. Yeah, I was actually going to run through the chats under either I had a name that was Saint Voice, Internet Saint.
Internet saint.
Yeah, my whole thing was, compared to all you people, I am a saint, on the internet.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean.
4chaners and
Hey, Sean, how you doing? Welcome. If you want to hit that link, Sean, and join us up here, if you got time, jump on up. Goes for the rest of you guys too. Links at the top.
I don't have a lot of time left either tonight, really, to be on. I really do gotta give myself a haircut in the bathroom. I gotta line the bathroom up with some old sheets that I have, catch all the hair, buzz the hair off.
Gotta get a Floby, man.
Dude, I should get a Floby, bro. Dude, do they do tight cuts? I just remember like Floby commercials, like Asian kids, like big with like long settings, and they're like Floby. It catches all of the.
Well, they actually came out with extensions to it so that they were at an angle and stuff like that, so you can actually give yourself a fade or whatever it's called. My aunt had one. As soon as I found out she had it, I was just like, all right, you're cutting my hair. Cut my hair. I want to see how it works. It actually worked pretty decent. Luckily, I didn't have any, too much of a complicated haircut at the time, so it worked out. Floppy. But yeah, to bring this around, the multiple realities that we face.
I'm muted?
Yeah, I think you were for a minute there.
Oh, are you bald?
I shaved my head. Yeah.
Nice, me too.
Yeah, I got that.
I didn't know I was muted.
I got that receding hairline going on, so I cut off all my long hair.
That's what I'm about to go do here. I'm right with you, man.
Yeah,
It
right
don't
before
it
I did
doesn't look
that,
it doesn't look right if I grow it out.
well, right before I decided to get rid of it, I noticed how much my hair was receding, and at the time had long hair. It was down to my ass. So and I was a drummer and all that good stuff.
Oh, dude, you should have
And
kept that shit though. Should have
no,
skull
it was starting to look
skull it,
stupid.
bro.
It was starting to look stupid. It was receding so much, so I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna keep it no more.
Did you
I need,
get the there's a couple different types. Did you get the spot right on the top of the back of the head, or did you get the strip?
I got it. Basically, it's what do they call it? Widow's Peak, I guess
Oh,
thing.
you get the widow's pick. That's the other type. Yes, you got
Yeah, so
the inside boys there receding back. Man,
it I got this patch that's at the top of my head that comes down, but on the side of it is like partially gone there. So I just
I
buzz
got.
it all
Do you know what I'm talking about when you talk about the strip? It's like the
on
guys
top.
that just, yeah, I got, that's what I got. You
Yeah,
know, I started getting that when I was like 33, 4.
yeah,
And like, I didn't shave it off until I was about 35 or 6.
I've always had a
Now,
high hairline.
I had good hair until I was about 30.
Hey,
Fuck, I
AZ,
did.
good to see you. Yeah, yeah, it
We're
was
just
just
talking about hairlines, AZ, dude. Yeah, it's
yeah,
got to go. Once it starts looking stupid, it's got to go, right?
absolutely. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just how it is. I mean, with me, like I said, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could probably do a mohawk to a certain point, but it wouldn't be good enough. It's like I got the patch up front and it kind of connects to the rest in the back, but it's
Oh, I
kind of
could fake
thin
it
in
too.
between.
It would look stupid. It would look pathetic, and
Yeah.
everyone can see it. It's not
Yep.
thick hair. You're not young. It's thin. It looks stupid. It looks forced. And yeah, we don't do that shit around here.
But man, boy, I could pull off a reverse mohawk, no problem. I tell you that.
Yeah, a skullet. I could get a skullet going. Telling you guys, I could get the hardest skullet. I'd be rocking the skullet if I really wanted to, because I can grow hair out of the side of my head like no other. It just doesn't come out of the top.
Yeah, AZ, we've kind of drifted away from the original subject a little bit, as you can tell.
The
Which,
reality of hair.
yeah,
Yeah. Dude, why did we put ourselves in this universe where we can't grow hair out of the tops of our heads, dude?
as far as we know, God is a man, and we're inside his thoughts,
Dude,
and
this is
he has a
sick.
receding hairline.
Maybe, yeah, he does. And we're his children, and we're just getting the receding
Made in his
hairlines
image.
too. Or in his image. Yeah, that's right. Oh man, it's good to think about. It's nice. Because I never cared either. I'm like, as soon as it started looking dumb, I'm like, oh, I'm cutting this shit off. This looking an idiot.
You want to hear
Somebody took
something? Oh, go ahead.
somebody took a picture of me. They took a picture of me from up above, like they were like 8 feet above me
Hmm.
on like a story or whatever, a second story. They took a picture of the top of my head, showed it to me. I was like, oh man, that looks fucking dumb. I cut it all off, man.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was after a show and we played and my hair was all over the place and it was aggravating me and stuff like that. And I got home, got ready to take a shower, and I had my hair basically the top of my hair pulled back in a not necessarily a top knot, but like one of them samurai knots where it was kind of towards the back of your head there.
Yeah.
And I was looking in the mirror and I just went, "What the hell?" And I noticed there's that it was thin up there in this one spot, and I was like, "Man, you could see right through that. You didn't used to be able to see right through that." And I'm like, "Ah, crap." So I took the hair tie out and everything, and had my hair basically flip over to one side, and I saw it plain as day, and I was like, "Okay, it's gone. It's got to go." And I went ahead, took my shower, and went to bed. And I woke up in the morning, and my hair was strangling me, and it was partially down my throat and up my nose and in my eyes and just all over the place. And I basically about 3 minutes later, I was in the bathroom shaving it.
Dude,
So
your hair tried the peanut butter solution. You.
yeah, it tried to kill me. It knew what was coming, tried to prevent it.
Yeah.
But I ended up giving away to that. I forgot the name of the place, but they.
Oh, you donated it?
Yeah, I donated it.
I never had long hair ever in my life, so I didn't get to donate shit. But
Well, I figured I had to, man. It was down to my ass, literally.
you're a hair farmer.
Yeah. So
They
I had to harvest.
They harvested. Yeah, you harvested that. What do you call it? Crop. You had a good crop going there.
Oh yeah, and all that hair. I mean, the back of my head and everything is thick, so all that hair is thick as hell.
Just
so I had
some
plenty
neck
of
hair, dude. Just donate.
No, not neck hair.
dude. Yeah, dude. Dude, I could probably donate some neck hair, dude. I'm kidding you, man. I'm just fucking around.
No, but yeah, I mean, every time I went in, got my hair cut, and then they always remarked how thick my hair was, and I was like, yeah, just not in the right spot.
Right. So it ain't coming out of the top of that shit. Where I need it. Fucker. God damn it. Me? Why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah, that was one of the things. Chicks loved rubbing their hands through that.
Give me some hair on the top of my head, self. Oh, man. See if that works. I hope it does. Till then, it's coming right off.
If God has a receding hairline, I'm certain it's because of us.
Infidel, dude, we're just all receded now, dude.
That's awesome.
My wife
yeah,
is bitching. She's
those
like
of you
telling me I
who've come
gotta
in-
get in there and shave it now.
Yeah, for those of you who just came in recently, yeah, there's a link up there at the top of the chat. Join us up here on StreamYard and join in the conversation. But yeah, to bring it back around, we've kind of strayed a little bit.
Yeah,
Reality.
and I really do have to go. I really do have to go.
Yeah, go take care of business. Make sure them dogs get some food.
Well, I gotta go shave my head and I'll do all my shit, dude. I got garbage and all, man. So thanks for having me up.
Hey, not a problem.
And
Anytime.
I'll try to check back in when I get my shit done, and then I'll see what you guys are up to.
Excellent. All right. Thank you for coming up. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. See you later.
Take care. But we'll go ahead and circle back around to the original discussion. What I was essentially trying to get a discussion going on was that everything in our lives, whatever takes our focus, whatever excludes the outside world for whatever we're doing at the time. For some people, it could be working on an engine, drawing a picture, playing music, straight up meditation. These things all determine your reality. And to add to it, the internet itself is a separate reality. And then it goes even further because each channel that you go to is a separate reality. Each site you go to, different groups of people that you interact with in different groups are separate realities. Now, it's whether we can acknowledge and accept it to where we're able to separate the realities to understand them better. I hope I'm not losing anyone. I hope I'm actually explaining this decently. But I'll go back to this. In Star Wars and Star Wars lore and all that stuff, George Lucas came up with a reality. He made a movie out of it, Star Wars. And in doing that, he encompassed many things in real life. and used them in those movies. Now, the Jedi way of thinking about doing things is more or less telling us exactly what I'm talking about. Now, granted, it's a movie and stuff like that, but George Lucas came up with an entire universe. Well, we'll just call it a galaxy, just to keep it simple. And it's far, far away. But he did this and made a reality. In this reality, I think he put in a lot of elements of life that were pointing us towards what we all should be thinking about. Like I was saying, the Jedi Code, stuff like that, how they dealt with things, how they reacted, how they thought was in centering and balance. Now we can go through and discuss, all the different reactions in the movies and stuff like that with the Jedi and bad guys and all this stuff. But the generality of it is that George Lucas was designing out a spiritual, what's the right word? A spiritual guide, structure that can be used. And I tell you from my experience that it works. Because, quite frankly, I was a, Star Wars geek all my life. Pretty much all my life. And I got into the lore. I read many of the books. Not all of them, because there's so many. But I got into it because I enjoyed that universe. I liked it. So I wanted to know more about it, which informed me on trying to write my own book. But the things that are in these movies, Jedi mind tricks, yeah, I believe that's very possible for us to do individually. As a matter of fact, it's called manipulation. Now, you could, think of manipulation as a negative thing, but really, if you look at it evenly in the middle, so it's not good or bad. When I was in high school, I really liked this girl that was in, I don't remember which class. I want to say it was like the home ec class or something. Yeah, I think it was home ec because we were allowed to walk around a lot and, talk with everybody. So it was really cool. But I was in this class with this girl that I liked. And quite frankly, I never had an opportunity before to actually get to talk to her and hang out with her in any regard because our circles just didn't mix. I was always in this group. She was always in that group. We never really talked. But I had an opportunity to talk to her in this class because we had so much free time and everything like that. And we were all generally working on the same type of projects and stuff like that. So it was really easy to start up a conversation. So I did. And honestly, her impression of me was not desirable, not interested at first. And quite frankly, that wasn't too much of a shocker. I've never been, a good looking dude, but I ended up talking to her and it took a while, a few weeks, but she started to see who I was. But I was focusing on her so much so that I was able to manipulate her into going out with me. Now, you might say, well, that's not good, but it was good because she ended up seeing that I was actually a pretty decent dude and was relatively fun to hang around with and stuff like that. So we got closer. She ended up being my girlfriend for about a month or something like that. But it worked. I mean, Jedi mind tricks, I mean, in the way of the Jedi, the way they use it, yeah, they're very specific on how it's done and stuff like that. But all these things that the Jedi would you would see as their tricks, the telekinesis, lightsaber battling, and all that stuff, mind tricks, are just the same thing that we can do ourselves, but it's put into more of a spiritual or mystical light. A buddy of mine in high school said that I could talk the pants off a teacher if I wanted to. Well, I don't think I could, of course, but I was very good with manipulation. But I didn't understand why. And what was why, the reason why I was able to do it as well as I did, not saying I was, a master at it or anything like that, but I paid attention to how people were. For instance, that girl I liked in home ec class, I knew that she liked animals and she was wanting to become a veterinarian. So I talked to her about my dogs and stuff like that and asked her questions, and because I knew that she wanted to be a vet. So I would ask her stuff that she was interested in, and basically this is like 101 type stuff, but you have to understand I was in freaking middle school or high school. So, it was brand new stuff to me then, especially using it on, girls. But I wanted something to happen. I wanted a relationship with this girl. So I manipulated the situation to get the girl. And it's just that simple. My determination determined my reality. I wanted her. I went and got her. I had to figure out how, but I did it. And it was always a possibility that I would fail. I mean, failed plenty of times. But everybody can use this to their advantage. And it takes learning about yourself, because that's the only real reality that matters. You are the center of the universe, and everybody else is just players circling around you. Now, I know that sounds all, I was going to say conceited, but that didn't fit. It all sounds self-centered. And it should be. Because in knowing yourself, you know others better. So while initially it may be kind of selfish, it ends up being the opposite. Because I have gained so much more empathy through the years in understanding myself that I ended up understanding others better. Because with me, it was easy in at least one way. I was a very angry person, so I recognized anger. Most people can. But it was the reason for the anger that I wanted to investigate, because I wanted to find out what my anger was about. So I ended up using it in the opposite way. Sometimes your learning curves are longer than others. But I did this in the opposite way of saying, okay, I understand this, so how do I make it apply to myself? So say, your dad's a alcoholic and likes to beat the family. Well, I understood that behavior perfectly well, because that would have been whatever I was dealing with in my life. so I could recognize it in others. For instance, I knew a guy in high school. I instantly knew that he had a shitty family, or at least a family that treated him like shit, or he at least saw them as them treating him like shit, because I understood it, because that's something that I recognized. So just walking down the halls in the high school, I can go, okay, that one has a bad family life. That one has a bad family life. Ooh, that one has a good family life, but doesn't have a good relationship with their brothers and sisters. This one has a horrible reaction with their parents, but likes their siblings. Different spins on all types of relationships. But in knowing yourself, you are able to recognize things in others. Now, there's all kinds of stuff that I didn't enjoy recognizing about myself. Like I said, I have many flaws. But in me recognizing my flaws, I understand other people's flaws. And can even extend my knowledge out to the part where I can almost guess how people are and how they would react to things. This is an amazing tool. And I like to apply it when I do these shows. Just from certain people, I've done this quite a few times, but just how people can type in chat. I know it's very bland sometimes whenever you're typing, but you can tell how things are typed in chat. It informs you of personality. It informs you of mood. It even informs you of having enough sleep. Paying attention is key. Paying attention to yourself and others. But you start with yourself. And the more attention that you're able to pay, the more understanding you gain. The more you're able to see these different realities for what they are. Many of these realities we deal with are distractions. For instance, me growing up sitting in front of a TV. I mean, most of my life I spent outside the house, but whenever I had to be inside the house, I was in front of a TV. That was mainly because my home life sucked, so I wanted the escape. So there it was. But recognizing these escapes is actually pretty damn good, because you can see them for what they are, and you can use them or not use them as you see fit. But the whole plan to this is you taking over for yourself. Most people just want to go with the flow. Well, yeah, whatever. What do you want to do today? I don't care. Okay, I want to do this. Okay, that's fine. Which, there's nothing really bad with that, but still, if you don't have an invested interest in yourself, how's that going to translate to others? Or, hell, just your job, or talking to your family. So that's mainly what I wanted to go into. I'm going to go ahead and bring it to a close. It's almost midnight here, and I got to get up in the morning and do my work thing. So, really, this has just gone into take a look at yourself. You might not like what you see, or you might love it, but you need to look and examine it. Because this bottleneck that we were talking about earlier is coming. So if you're not squared away before it comes, Well, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to turn out, but I still think it's something you should do. Know yourself. It'll help you with others. And with that, I'll go ahead and tell everybody thank you very much. I would like to thank Survival for coming up and hanging in with me and talking with me tonight. I'd like to thank all of you guys in chat for coming in and participating in the chat. I really do enjoy discussing this stuff because it's it's kind of a therapy for me. So I appreciate you guys hanging with me during it. And with that, I yield and I bid you all good night.